Hi friends, welcome to this class. So we're going to paint a robin bird today. Before I talk about how we're gonna layer it, let's use some masking fluid. This is Raczynska's blue bottle, and I'm going to use an old brush I don't really care about anymore. And then I try to create the finest hair detail I can. So it's about like positioning your hand. Also, it's like as if you're barely touching the paper. It's almost like I'm not touching the paper. You might want to rotate even this paper. This is, by the way, my cold pressed in a journal. I used to have these journals. I don't make these anymore, but it's with the old paper by Hanemule. So Hanemule, the collection was my favorite paper back in the days, and this is the paper. It's just they don't make this paper with the texture, as much texture anymore. So the new version of the collection seems very smooth. It feels like hot pressed. All right, that's it. So I am going to quickly rinse off my brush so I don't lose it. The first part is about layering the entire bird overall. We're going to wet the entire bird on the inside, all these feathers, including the beak and the eyes, because the beak and the eyes are overall darker anyway. I've been wetting it for a while, so now I'm going to show you where I'm going to wet the background. So over here, I'm adding the background here, or the water toward the background where I want the colors to bleed red. If I let the paint to spread, that will also give me more time to apply the colors, because if I start applying like a heavy cream or heavy cream like ratio between water and paint, the paint, everything will kind of dry faster. So that's why we have to like strategize everything, right? So I can't just start going with like a heavy cream. Sometimes I do, it just depends what I'm painting. Now this is my imidazolone yellow, and now I'm gonna grab this iso yellow. If it's too early for that, then go back for that imidazolone yellow. Now you don't have to like clean your brush every time. And go for the yellow parts. So this is cobalt blue here, some phthalo blue, maybe some quin red, and these are the areas that I want them to stay or be more bluish. And we have to actually, I shouldn't be going down so fast. I should start right here, and I'm wiping my brush a little bit on a towel. This is milk-like ratio. So what I'm trying to say is the paper in this area here will dry faster. That's why you really want to cruise around and not focus only like on one area. So I pressed a little harder with my brush, so I released more paint too. So highlights, so important. Like these are the main highlights. It doesn't mean that we're just gonna leave it the way it is. That's why I added a little bit of blue. Now there's a little bit of blue here too. So when you start scanning like the areas, you see like a lot of like, okay, there's blue here, blue here. So as long as you're mixing these colors on the paper, not your palette, you'll be okay, and you won't get into that muddy mix of green, for example, because yellow plus blue creates a shade of green. So that's why we have to be careful. Now here I on purpose went over, and I'm trying to actually mix it a little more because I do see a little bit of that shade of green. Now it's not like a green that we would grab from a tube. It is actually a combination of the shadowy blue over the yellow feathers. So that's why we want to use the same colors that we've already been using. Now, quickly cleaning my brush. I'm not done with that bird, the yellow feathers. I'm actually grabbing a larger brush. This is my long quill size 4. This is the yellow I was using. This is the iso yellow. And now, slowly introducing the red. This is more like a half and half like ratio. It's been a few minutes, right? So everything feels a little drier, so I have to hurry up if I want to add more color. It's still like not the worst timing yet. I didn't get to that yet, fortunately, because sometimes like, okay, we can't just freely add colors anymore. But here, going back to the top, because this is where I started, and what I really need to do is add the darks toward the top of the head. Now, if for some reason you don't make it with applying all these colors, right, with this first layer, hopefully this is the only layer, then you can always re-wet and then just apply more color, and you'll be okay too. So now I'm focusing on a little more red here. I want a little more red. I want to keep this wet longer, so that's why I'm actually adding orange. Not that I really need orange in there, but I want to keep this wet longer. This part is going to dry super fast. Ideally, I actually want to add some burnt sienna, some let's see, Van Dyke brown and the orange, red, all these colors. I do want to make it darker. What will really make it darker is actually blue. So let's grab some cobalt blue as well. Now this is more like a heavy cream-like ratio. So as you continue applying colors, you need to start adjusting again the ratio between water and paint on your brush. That's because everything is drying. Now I want more of that orange. This became a little too dark, I'd say. So I'm cleaning my long cool size 4, and I'm gonna quickly grab the orange plus the red, make it cleaner again. This is more like a half and half, so I just wipe my brush on a towel even more. So this feels like a damp brush. I just want to apply a little more of this. I keep saying orange. This is ISO yellow, so it's still yellow, but it's like an orange yellow. Over here, and here, and then back in here. Now this is like the last call to actually add any more color toward the face here. And I want this to be a little brighter. I want this to be brighter. You want to position your, or make sure that you see that shape of the brush when you apply colors. Now too much is not good either, so we got to stop at some point. I'm just going to quickly grab with that same dirty brush a little bit of blue. All right, thank you so much for your time. Please let me know if you have any questions.